Hello, this is a message for someone who has some type of control issue. And if this message is for you, this is something you're painfully aware of. This is something you've been dealing with for a long time. And this is something you've tried to manage in a number of ways. And if this message is for you, you are typically in one or of two minds about it. Either you're in a state of self-acceptance where you want people to know and accept that this is just who you are. You have a dominant personality, or you are a type A and you need to have a certain level of control and people just need to accept that about you. Or there are times where you face struggles and then you end up looking at yourself like, why am I this way? Why do I have to be this way? What's wrong with me, right? So if this message is for you, you are probably in that state of mind right now. And that's how you're even, open to hearing me out. So here's the thing. If this message is for you, this sense of, this urge to control comes from a place of feeling out of control within yourself and not having a complete handle on things that you may keep sort of hidden. Okay, so maybe you're a person who deals with addictions. Maybe you're a person who deals with anxiety. You deal with something inside of you that is, in your own perception, totally uncontrollable. Okay, say it's an anxiety. Maybe you've taken anxiety medication. Maybe you've tried meditation. You've tried a number of things. You don't feel like you have full control of it. Say it's an addiction. Maybe you've been able to, stay sober for a while, but then you inevitably find yourself in a overusing state where it's bad for you and you hide it and you just struggle with these things to the point that you may have labeled them demons. Okay, maybe you have in your issues things that you feel you're battling every day and you have trouble controlling, and so that's part of the reason you've probably labeled them demons. When we do that, we're sort of separating the issue from us. That's not to say that, dark entities aren't a thing and demons aren't a thing. But many times when people say they're battling demons, what they're actually battling is a side of themselves. Okay, that's where the shadow work comes in. It's something in the shadows about them. And you're running away from a part of yourself. When you label it something that isn't you, you make it further foreign to you, so you can even figure it out less. Then you take it a step further, and then you start exteriorizing. Then you start trying to control your environment. You start trying to control people. You start trying to control situations, things that are out of your control. Whenever you try to control anything that's out of your control, you're bound to end up frustrated, and that's just generally in life. So you get yourself into this really exhausting, draining, frustrating situations because you try to exert control over things that you cannot have true control over. Another side effect of this is that you end up selling yourself illusions that allow you to believe that there is a sense of control in a situation that deep down there isn't. Okay, because these things are outside of yourself. Okay, so when you feel like, sorry, cut off, but when you feel like you don't have any control over things going on inside you, say anxiety and addiction, whatever, then you try and control things outside you, which if you were looking at it objectively, you would realize you have even less control over that. Now, believe it or not, the answer, and that's the message I've been getting for days, is that it's going in the opposite direction you've been going. You've been trying to exteriorize your issues, whether by calling them something outside of yourself, or divorcing yourself from the concept, okay? Or exteriorizing your need for control. Whenever you do that, you get further away from the solution. You have to turn around and do the opposite, which is look deeper inside of you. So, let's use the addiction example. If you find yourself battling with an addiction, you need to go deeper into this sense of powerlessness over this urge, okay? You need to feel it, not fulfill it, okay? I'm not saying give in to it. I'm saying sit with the withdrawal. Dig in the withdrawal. Now, this is going to be incredibly uncomfortable, but as I always explain, we illuminate the darkness through our consciousness. Our consciousness is what brings light to the darkness, okay? So it's only when you put your consciousness to something, when you pay attention to something, that you're able to see the truth of it, okay? So you have to sit with the withdrawal. Next time you have an urge to do something that is a negative, like a destructive addiction for you, say, I guess I used to smoke cigarettes a long time ago. Say you want cigarettes. I mean, I'm a cold turkey quitter. I used to smoke 2 packs a day when I was pretty young. And it was a compulsion, I will say. But then I decided to quit. And when I decide to quit something, that's it. And the reason is that's it is because I'll go the hard way. I'll quit completely right away, and I'll sit with the horrible, okay? I'll go the dark way. I'll sit there with the discomfort and just go through it. And then it's over. In the beginning, it sucks. It's ugly. And I completely understand when I'm going through it why people try to avoid that. It's like the rebound effect. People don't like the feeling, obviously, of being utterly heartbroken. So they try to date someone and avoid the heartbreak, right? This is similar. People, I mean, I understand that it's different for everybody, so I don't want to assume that what's, perhaps easier for me is that way for everyone. Maybe, I just haven't experienced addiction on that level, or maybe I don't have the genetics to become that kind of addict. I'm not sure, but I can tell you that, yeah, it was ugly quitting cigarettes. My body went through it, and I had a total compulsion. I also have OCD at the time. I didn't realize I did. So I did have a compulsion to want to smoke. And at the time, I mean, since I did this, I don't know, probably since I was 17. No, I mean, I was already doing it at 15. I don't know. I had periods I would wake up and smoke, go to bed smoking. Like, I was just always, like, smoking all day long, nonstop, okay? And so I grew up also around people who did that, and I knew how that could go. So, but really, let's be honest, the reason I quit is because I had recently moved to Wisconsin, and I was very young. I was, I smoked for about 3 years, I think. But I was about 19, and I had to step out in a balcony to smoke because we couldn't smoke in our apartment. And it was really fucking cold. And I said, I'm not doing this to myself. That was it. I said, I'm not doing this to myself. I'm not gonna make myself stand in the cold to indulge myself in this addiction that's bad for me. So I just casually said, I'm done. My husband also smoked, and I was out there with other people who smoked, and I thought you know, they kind of laughed at me and they assumed I wouldn't be done, but I was, you know. I have watched my husband quit cigarettes later, and how long it took him, and how many tries, and how hard it was. And that's when I understood as well that it's not the same for all of us. But I will tell you that the willingness to go through the dark, ugly, and just raw dog it goes a long way. And if you're able to tough it out and see those demons face to face and see what's really in the dark, where really these things come from, you know, all the ugly came out for me with cigarettes, oral fixation, constant distraction, how it would like divide my days, how I would use it to avoid food. I mean, all these horrible things that every single one of them I wanted to avoid. So again, I can understand why it would have been very easy to just give in and avoid, because it was like all issues hit me. Wow, my fucking face. It was like, it wasn't just quitting smoking, right? It was like, you have all these other issues that you've been covering up with the smoking, okay? And so it was kind of the beginning of facing all those other issues. And in order to quit smoking, I had to open my eyes to all that. But once I got through it, and my body got through the withdrawals, and I went through the mental purge and the emotional ugly of, I mean, also there was a lot of crying and being angry and all of that. Like, it was just ugly, but I went through it. And then I never smoked again. I've never smoked cigarettes again. So I guess that's the message I've been getting for whoever this is with your control issues. This is all covering up whatever other issues you have that you've been avoiding, okay? Your control issues are no different than my cigarettes, just putting a smoke wall between me and my issues, so I couldn't really even see them, and I was just distracted and exhausted, keeping myself this chimney, you know? You're keeping yourself exhausted through trying to control the uncontrollable, and that's your way of avoiding these demons that really are hidden wounds of yourself in the dark that you haven't figured out yet. So hopefully this was helpful.